hello. Good morning. All right, let's make sure everything's copacetic here. I'm getting a video output low. Stream health is not very good, but then on my end, I'm seeing it's all good. So I don't know. Hopefully, it's good for everybody. If it's not, let me know. Good morning, Beyond Trinity. What's happening? How's everybody doing? Welcome. Hello. Welcome. 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 From wherever you are, I hope everyone is well. Okay, good. Today is Tuesday, April 14th, all day long. And right now it's 8:05 a.m. in the morning here. I mean, listen, I don't even think about Songkran. It is actually the Songkran Festival, depending on where you are, started yesterday, even the day before yesterday. But there is no Songkran Festival being practiced this year. And obviously that's probably a good thing because, that's a good thing because nobody wants this thing to be prolonged any longer than it needs to. And let's get to something that's very, very important here in Thailand, the booze ban. Alcohol sales in all 76 provinces are now banned. The period of time during which the sales of alcoholic beverages are prohibited varies from province to province. The ban is effective from the 10th and from now and tomorrow until varying times. Let's see here. The ban is effective until the end of this month in 27 provinces, including Pattaya, and until April 20th in Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and 18 other provinces. The following stream and all videos on this channel are brought to you by my Patreon patrons, VIP members of my website, and also your contributions. There's also a little join button below the screen, and I believe there should be some t-shirts and other stuff, merch, showing up. You can join you can support the channel right through that join button or by getting a t-shirt, however you want to do it. Today's shout out goes to Gennaro. Gennaro, where you be? Where are you? How you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you very much for watching all this time and for helping the channel and myself. The channel is myself. Also, thank you very much, Mr. Bilal. I need a good stretch. If you'd like to support the channel, you can head over to AmericanInBangkok.com/Scott, or you just take a look in the description, or you click the little join button or the t-shirts below the video window or whatever, however you want to do it. Now, as of 7:53 this morning, current temperature 81 degrees Fahrenheit, high of 92, low of 79, feels like 86 degrees, 10% chance of rain, 90% humidity, 90%. Wind east northeast 0 miles an hour, visibility 5 miles, UV index is 1, air quality index 160, which is unhealthy. And the Thai baht, the last stream, which was on Sunday, the Thai baht was 32.6996. Or was it Sunday? Yeah, it was Sunday. 32.6996. And today it's 32.7575. 92 degrees is not very hot. actually. Not for here, but combined with a 90% humidity, that's pretty gnarly. Uh, so you want to be you don't want to be out now anyway, if you can help it. And I did see that if you don't have a mask on outside and the police officer sees you outside, he will either try to give you a mask or ask you why you don't have a mask, and you can be fined if you're not wearing one. I don't know what the chances of them actually doing so, but who knows? I suspect it's not all that high, at least in certain areas. If you're in an area congested with people, a tourist area, or you're down by, the Sukhumvit ghetto, the Farang ghetto, then there may be more. Um, so, that's the way it goes. You're going to be checked. They're doing a pretty good job here. What if you can't find or buy a mask? Well, then they should be able to give you one. There are masks available, but you have to look a little bit. But you can make your own. You can use cloth. People are doing that. A lot of the motorcycle drivers do that, and they did that in the past just to prevent dust from getting in their mouth. I don't know that it's the best method, but I think if you're wearing something, they won't bother you. And something is better than nothing, because, to be honest, I get a little antsy if I'm out, and I've only been out about 3 times in the last 5 or 6 weeks. And now people are starting to wear them. Everybody's starting to wear them. The last time I was out, I saw one person without a mask on. And I do see people walking up and down the street occasionally that don't have masks on. But, I did that before briefly, just because you're walking on a street. You're not going to be running into a group of people. The street is long, so you can see what's ahead of you. And if somebody was to come out of their house, you just kind of move over a little bit, and then you got your social distance. So I understand, a few of them, they're walking outside of their house or whatever, and they don't have a mask on. They're, spraying their plants with water, watering their flowers, whatever they might be doing, moving their motorcycle inside, and may not be wearing masks. But for the most part, everybody in the mall that I saw was wearing a mask. Nobody was without a mask. And people might call you up on it. And if you're a foreigner, you do not want to be out without a mask and get called up by a bunch of Thais. And then if you were to go out and you go, I don't have a mask, what am I going to do? They would probably tell you, you need to get a mask. You need to make one, you need to get one. They would probably be understanding. But if you gave them an attitude about it, you might have some problems. And you don't want that. Not now. That's the last thing people need. You don't need to be getting in brawls in the street or, getting beat up and taken to the hospital because you weren't wearing a mask. So if you can, and you're here or wherever you are, wear a mask. And I'm still shocked at how many people I see in the United States, in Australia, in the UK, and they just don't wear masks. They go out, I'm going to go to the park. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. It's one thing. The other day, Charles came in and said, hey, I go down to the beach. It's a straight shot. You go right into the beach. You don't talk to anybody. If you're surfing, you're not hanging out, like sitting right next to anybody on your board. You have space. That's a little more understandable. But when you're going out into the street, walking around, and there's a large number of people, or on the sidewalk and there's a large number of people, I don't get it, because whether this is overblown or not, the chance of getting it, okay, let's say you get it. I said this a million times already. Let's say you get it, and you're fine. Who knows? I could have it, and I don't even know it. My wife could have it. She don't even know it. We could all have it here. I don't know. And we don't have it. It hasn't taken any effect on us. Had any effect on us. But then we go to somebody else, and they're older, or they're immune system's compromised, and guess what? They get into trouble. You know, hardly no one wearing masks in Australia. Chief medical officer says it's not necessary. Okay. See, I take it a little bit differently, and I don't care what some of these doctors say. I don't know why they would say. I understand that you are. I didn't mean to get into this about the mask, but okay, here's the deal. If you wear a mask and you wear it properly, then to me it's better safe than sorry. Okay, which is why the Japanese often wear masks simply because they have a cold and they don't want to pass it on to anybody else. And you know, or they wear it because of pollution, or they don't want to get sick in an area where there's a lot of people. In Asia, it's normal to wear masks, not to this extent, but especially like in Japan. But the only way that it probably isn't safer is if you're constantly grabbing your mask and reaching and adjusting it and reaching inside the mask and tainting the mask. I only wear a mask when in markets, at work, when in close proximity of other workers, or picking up food. Well, you know, if you're in your car by yourself, you know, I guess that the argument could be made that if you take the mask off and you're in your car and maybe you have it, that you are breathing inside the car in a confined area and you get that virus. That virus is spread around and goes on to different surfaces. And somebody comes in and touches it and then touches their face, touches their eyes, whatever, then they are at risk. So I don't know how safe that is. I don't really know. But to me, it's better safe than sorry. Well, actually, it's airborne, but gravity pulls the particles down to the ground. So if you're sitting there and you sneeze and it goes onto the dashboard of your car and somebody reaches up and puts their hand on the dashboard, they come in 20 minutes later, you know, I don't know. It would seem that it would be prudent to wear a mask inside of a car. Now, this is a big problem. And I dare say that in the United States, they're talking about, oh, it's flattening out, it's flattening out. Yesterday, let me see here. Yesterday, thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. Yesterday, 1,500 people died in the United States. It's 10 times more contagious than the flu. That's what they've determined now. It's 10 times more than the flu. Actually, Gennaro, there's been numerous people who have been coming on, numerous experts, not me, I'm not an expert, obviously, but numerous people, numerous doctors have been talking about this, and they're talking about that while you're breathing, you are spreading particles out into the air, and people can become infected from it. So I think that while everybody wants to think, oh, it's just a flu, it's not. And, you know, I look at the numbers, and, you know, I'm very torn about this. I did not want to get into this, but while we're on the subject, we might as well talk about it. Because I'm kind of torn about this. Because part of me is like, hey, listen, what are you going to do? Ruin the world's economy, and put countless numbers of people out of business and on the streets, and just ruin people's lives. And you have how many people? Right now, total deaths, about 120,000 people. Let's see, almost 120,000 people. So for 120,000 people, which, you know, it sounds like a lot. That's a huge football stadium, right? That's, a coliseum. But in the larger, when you look at the big picture, it's a very small percentage. That's 15 deaths per million. that's tiny. The problem that, as I see it, is the amount that it spreads. And now they're saying something like, for every person that becomes infected, it's possible for them to it works out to where they'll spread it to approximately 1,200 people. They spread it to somebody, and then they spread it, and they spread it, and it ends up approximately 1,200 people. That's what I heard yesterday. And so, when I hear that, I'm like, man, that's not good, obviously. We got a low percentage now, but you got to start somewhere. And so if it's a low percentage now and people keep spreading it, people don't wear masks, people just go, no big deal, man. Man, I'll be all right. I'm in the fresh air. And yeah, you're in the fresh air and your friend just, breathed on you. Or, you got some chick who you don't know and she goes out with a girlfriend. She doesn't care. And you start macking on her. Guess what? You're a carrier. It's that simple. So why not be safer than sorry, because you're playing with your life? And, I'm telling you, every time I go out, I come back and I'm like, man, I'm praying I'm all right. Well, Sweden, let me see where they're at right here. Sweden has 10,000, almost 11,000 people infected, and about just over 900 people have died. Now, that's also a relatively small amount for the number of people in their country, which is about just over 10 million people. So, you figure that's, where is it at here? Where's the numbers? 91 per million. So that's also a relatively small amount, but they are practicing some social distancing. They're not just hanging all over each other. Everything is not as normal as it is normally in Sweden. But compared to other places, Sweden is relatively small. Compared to the United States, it's tiny. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Alvin. Hey, long time no see. Long time no see, man. Let's see here. Australia. I think Australia, it hasn't even started to begin, but you guys are in a different position because you're an island continent. And I don't know, I know there are some restrictions there, but I know some people just don't abide by them. But there's 6,359 cases and 61 dead. It's about 2 people per million. Now, so again, that's a relatively small amount. So I'm kind of torn between the whole, well, hey, should you just go out and risk it? Because, as I understand it, 80% of people will not have any serious effects from it. Out of the 20%, it works out to somewhere around 4% of the people get seriously ill and maybe 2% die. So, yeah, New Zealand buckled down hard, but they still have some cases. Let me see how many, because I was watching them. 1,349 cases, 5 dead. Works out to 1 per million. Yeah, I kind of figured that, things are different now. People's working hours are different. People's lifestyles are different. I start at 8 o'clock. Where's Mr. Longhorns? I did speak to, is it 9 o'clock? No, it's 8 o'clock. It's 8:24. I did speak to Jono yesterday, and he's basically holed up. And now he's starting to do the thing where he just orders his food and gets his food delivered. Once once every couple of days he'll go down to 7-Eleven and get some water. I told him instead of going every couple of days, what you need to do is you go back and forth. You get somebody to help you, either from 7-Eleven or from your apartment. You get somebody to help you, and you get all the water and you bring it up. And if you have to, you make multiple trips. Singapore's not in great shape. They just had, I think it's 365 new cases. Let me see. What was it that I put here? Because I was going to talk about that. Well, where did it go? Did I put it somewhere else? It was 365 cases. And it is a second wave, and it's something that that Thailand is concerned about. They're concerned about the other countries in Asia. Let's see here. Got the information right here. Record 386 new coronavirus cases in Singapore. 65-year-old Singaporean man becomes the 9th person to die. What is that? Is that what's their total now? Let's see if I can find that for you guys. It has to be above 365. I think it's somewhere around 1,200 or something like that. 2,918 cases. So they have more. They were bragging about. I mean, there were people from Singapore. What's the guy's name? I met with the guy. I'm blanking out right now. But he and many other Singaporeans were, I believe it was him, were bragging to me about how great Singapore has, what a great job they've done containing it, and how they're doing better than everywhere else in Thailand, and guess what? They're not now. So this is this is not going to go away, and I've said this many times. In my opinion, Thailand's not going to open up at the end of the month. It's going to be closed down for at least another month. That's just my opinion, of course. I think it'll be closed down for at least another month. But, who knows? In the coming weeks, anything can happen if it goes down to 0 cases. I can't see that happening, though. Because a lot of new people have come into the country. Don't get me started about China, Alvin. Singapore is saying Hong Kong is crazy for having the protest and sides with China. I wonder how Singapore feels about the virus from China now. The protests have largely stopped. They haven't stopped completely, but it's gone down from a regular occurrence to just a trickle. And, people don't want to die. Now, let me get into what I was going to talk about, which is that we need to make some changes in the world, at least in the mentality towards China and the CCP. And I want to make it perfectly clear that I don't hate Chinese people. Not at all. But I do despise the Chinese Communist Party because I think nothing good comes from it. They're an evil regime. They're just like North Korea, in my opinion. Except they may be even worse because they have more power. The United States has the largest economy in the world and constitutes a fourth, 25% of the world's economy. It's also viewed by people around the world as a bastion of freedom and democracy, and a place where anyone who works hard can build a better life for themselves. When times are tough, much of the world turns to the United States, or the government offers assistance. Supposedly, we have offered to relax sanctions on Iraq and to provide them with assistance. Now, just why would we give assistance to a country that for 41 years has been chanting death to America? I've long wondered, do these countries that want our help, ask for our help, and that we give help, do they turn to the United States because of its power and wealth, or do the countries view us as suckers? Is the United States the chowderhead of the world's nations? Are we chowderheads? What is so wrong with putting America first? I don't understand. You can't put that beyond Trinity. I don't think you can. I don't think you can put that. You can't say death to America in the chat because it's construed as a hate comment. Even me saying it in the stream, no worries. Even me saying so in the stream, I don't know if the algorithm will pick it up. But why is it okay for other countries to put their citizens' interest first, but when the United States does so, there is always someone there to cry foul? Does the United States government truly believe China will follow through with its promises, or is it merely an exercise in futility? No country with a state-run media can be believed, but is the mainstream media in the West much better when the vast majority have their own seemingly personal agendas? For all those who complain about China's propaganda machine, and make no mistake, it is indeed despicable. Wait a minute, let me see here. For all those that complain about China's propaganda machine, make no mistake, we have our own. This is indeed despicable, but how can the masses of China easily obtain the truth? How can we in the United States, I'm saying we as me and as an American, what is that? How can we obtain the truth? Easily. How can we easily do so? I think it's great. Japan is offering $2.2 billion for Japanese companies to relocate back to Japan or other countries. I think that's fantastic. Get them out of there. That's the first step. We should focus on our own country, as every country should do, and not meddle in other countries' affairs. I've never liked this. However, this only applies if the country's actions do not interfere or harm our own interest, or if the country is committing genocide. If they're committing genocide, listen, I think all gloves are off. The United Nations is now a toothless tiger, largely a waste of money. They failed in stemming the genocide in Rwanda, falling short of what they could and should have done, and their reputation remains less than stellar. France sent troops to set up safe zones in Rwanda, and the Rwandan government said they did not do enough to stop the killing, and even accused the French of carrying out the slaughter of the Tutsis. U.S. President Bill Clinton did nothing, later apologizing, claiming he was unaware of the magnitude of the killing. Too little, too late, and 800,000 dead. The head of the World Health Organization is corrupt and locked on to China's tit with a death grip. Once this crisis is over, he'll have to answer for his comments and actions, or lack thereof, or maybe even sooner. The European Union, bloated, largely ineffective, and despite its... no, this is wrong here. What did I do here? Bloated and largely ineffective. Despite its immense power and capabilities and wealth, as long as we do not factor in the national debt, the United States is always a step too slow. It always seems to be a step too slow. And I don't know why. Fed printing money like it's the new toilet paper. Is this affecting the exchange rate over there? Right now, the exchange rate is actually pretty high. It's pretty good. The dollar is pretty strong here. Slowly but surely, I have lost faith in the United States government, all governments, and people in general. Have we become so callous and desensitized we need to resort to fighting over toilet paper and hand sanitizer? Many of the world's leaders are inept. Becoming and being the leader of a country is far more difficult than any of us can imagine. However, who in their right mind would want to become the leader of a country? In my opinion, the only people are the ones who are going to benefit greatly from it, benefit personally. I don't understand why somebody would want to be the leader of a country unless they truly believe that they have good ideas that they can implement and they can get implemented. As we see, it's not always easy for the president of the United States or many other leaders to get their ideas through and be able to implement them. And you can have all the ideas you want, but if you can't implement them, then what good are they? I mean, look in the UK about Brexit. I mean, it's ridiculous what went on with Brexit. Let us not forget that the citizens of the United States are far better positioned to deal with this crisis than many other countries. In India, South Africa, the Philippines, and other countries, people in poverty virtually live on top of one another. There can be no such thing as social distancing when there is no distance to be had. Most Americans are privileged enough and comfortable enough to distance themselves from others. Most are fortunate enough to have internet service so they can sit home all day playing video games or bitch and moan on Twitter or wherever else they choose. We got too much time on our hands and we're too complacent. Why does America allow other countries to take advantage of us in business deals? It always seems like we get the worst end of the stick. We're never the ones who are screwed. I don't know. I'm just saying. It seems like we're never the ones screwing over other countries in business deals that we get into. We're the ones who get screwed. Why is the government, the U.S. government, funding? This is what really gets me, this stupidity. This is part of the change that I'm talking about. Why is the United States government funding a lab in Wuhan? Do our politicians think they're fat cats who can afford to make crappy deal after crappy deal to appease other countries and waste taxpayer dollars? It's not their money, so they figure, hey, we might as well just spend how we want. Just like with men who try to use money with women, once the money stops, so does the love. China actively suppresses information not only from the West, but also from its own people. Big Brother is everywhere, and U.S. companies such as Microsoft and Google are complicit in the communist regime's surveillance. Make no mistake, they have a part in it. And it's frightening, to be completely honest. I mean, I've been looking into this more and more. American companies buy from and help China for several reasons, money and distribution, but mainly it boils down to greed. Then, when, not if, but when their products are counterfeited, they expect China to be held responsible. The very checks and balances set forth in the Constitution that assure the citizens of the United States a solid foundation to start from also makes it difficult for the government to act quickly and make crucial decisions and seize opportunities. Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, and Kim Jong-un, their decisions are largely unfettered. This freedom gives them the ability to act quickly and seize opportunities. And sometimes that's beneficial. We have this bureaucratic red tape and this. You see especially now between the Republicans and the Democrats, just how bad it is. They're at each other's throats. Politics is tit for tat. You have these people who They get into office, and now they want to push their agenda. And so, for instance, when it comes to releasing funds for the people, it's supposed to be for the people and for the businesses so that they can help the people, the citizens of the country. And then they start adding in all these other stipulations in order to pass the bills. There's no place for that. And this is how the world is now. And there's so many things that I'm talking about. I can't possibly get into them in the time that we have in the stream. We are in a slow, grinding, silent war with China, and I suspect the United States government expects to win by attrition. This is a war of attrition, and I don't know that I agree. It's either that or we have turned a blind eye for the past 70 years and allowed our own arrogance and complacency to get the better of us. Make no mistake, the United States is at war with China, and so is much of the world. China is certainly at war with us. For them, it's win at all costs. They will do anything. Lie, cheat, steal, break promise after promise. They have done this time and time and time again. Will they ever relinquish Tibet? Fat chance, at least not willingly. Will they allow Taiwan to become a nation? Again, fat chance. There will be a time when China decides enough is enough and they use military action to take over Taiwan. I was just watching something the other day, and the time span seems to be around 2035. I believe that's what it was. The experts believe that sometime from now until then, China's going to make a move and basically just begin governing Taiwan how they want Taiwan to be governed. Will the U.S. and allies ever step in when it's necessary, now, not later, or will they stand idly by as they have done in the past numerous times? I hope so, but if I were a betting man, I'd once again say fat chance. There is nothing good about the Chinese Communist Party, and it's time for a change. The question is, how will the world go about effecting this change? I don't know. Now, one thing that I saw, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen this, is the whole Fire Fauci. And this big change in the media that has slowly occurred over the past few decades, where the media is more entertainment than facts, grinds my gears. Really does. Just burns me up to see this. It's people analyzing situations as opposed to reporting them. So what I'd like to see a change. How about we start focusing on the facts and less on slamming the president, the administration, the congressman, whether they be Democrat or Republican. Really, none of that matters to me. Democrat, Republican, Independent. Doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is what they plan on doing and how they act. Do they sit back and do nothing? What do they do? The medical experts on Fauci's panel gave Trump the word to begin mitigation, and supposedly he did so. So how about we focus on China and its role in all of this, as opposed to, we start concentrating on, let's become America again, where everybody bands together, where we don't have to be completely pro-Trump. I'm not saying everybody, the news and people have to be, they have to like everything that Trump does, but Jesus Christ, I look at almost every website, and everything is either bashing him, questioning him, or whatever. And hindsight is 20/20. Hindsight is 20/20. I can't believe that YouTube just blocked that comment and made me approve it. Democrats are just Republican light. So that tells you something about YouTube. And people should know YouTube, Twitter, and various other organizations, they are slanted to the left. And this has been proven by various organizations. But, you know, in March of this year, Dr. Fauci apparently said that people can still go on cruises. That's in March, in early March. He was still saying, yeah, people can go on cruise. It's not that bad. So, you know, all of this stuff that's going on is just part of the bigger picture, which is the world is too focused on, it's not focused enough on what's going on with China. Yeah, this is the thing. Why are we allowing China to do all these things? Are we this stupid? I mean, yeah, okay, I understand. Listen, everybody needs money. Hey, you know what? Somebody gives me $500, $1,000. You think it isn't going to help? Of course it is. Money, money's money. Money helps. It does. It creates stability. It can create jobs and future jobs and future income and all these kind of things. It gets things that makes people happy. It pays for trips and all these kind of things. Again, this comment, they are Democrats until they become a victim of something. That comment got blocked by YouTube. This is the kind of thing that I mean. And, I don't want to dwell on this, which is why I didn't stream yesterday, and which is why I'm not going to stream until Friday, and I may just stream on some subject that has absolutely nothing to do with this virus and with what's going on in the media, because I'm sick and tired of it. You can't look on the media. It's like I got to look on, and then it's like, Trump said this, Trump said this, he said that, now he said this, now he said that. Oh, he fired this guy, he's going to fire him. Jesus Christ. Oh, he should have done this, he should have done that. Oh, shut up already. Enough. Let's look at that later on. Let's look at the true facts. Let's get them all together. Now, they already have the facts and the dates and everything like that. They have all these things, but the mainstream media chooses to ignore it. And I just heard the lady today asking about why Dr. Fauci was saying that lives could have been saved. How stupid are you? He wasn't saying, oh, Trump screwed up. He should have he should have implemented policies that mitigated this circumstance much earlier. How would he do that if nobody told him to do this, and if he wasn't aware of how bad it was? How would he know to do that himself? He's not a doctor. He said that a million times. The doctor didn't give him the information until I think something like I don't know what it was, January 11th. Listen, I wouldn't go on a cruise now. If you gave me a free cruise, I wouldn't go on one. No way. For what? I mean, really, this is the thing. And I think it's the younger people who are going to have some more problems because they never expected this. Listen, I'm older. I'm set in my ways. Most of the people who view this stream they are older. A large percentage of them are above 40. People who lurk, people who, everybody who watches, they generally are a little bit older. So, no, we can't be on Trinity. Sorry. You don't have to be sorry. Sorry, but Trump is the most thin-skinned, fragile ego, constant victim snowflake of all. You don't have to be sorry. You're entitled to your opinion. I think, to be honest, he doesn't have enough time to really, truly care. And I think sometimes he just does it just to mess with people. He just tweets things because he feels like being a dick. Because he figures, yeah, exactly. As well as being a narcissistic sociopath. All right, now I don't know about the sociopath, but narcissistic, yeah, I'll agree with that. Australia has screwed up with China greatly. There are people that are saying, now it's China owns Australia, and this is not acceptable. Personally, like I said, I have nothing against Chinese people who are not backing the CCP. Now, I'm not gonna go out and do anything to them. If I meet somebody in Thailand, and I did meet somebody in Hong Kong, and he was vehemently for the CCP. He flat out was like, Hong Kong is ours. We don't want to let them have anything. And, if Hong Kong doesn't like it, too bad. And then I was like, well, what about the agreement that the Chinese government made with Hong Kong? What about the things that they're doing, allowing Chinese from the mainland to come in? I forget what the number is, something like 125 people a day to immigrate into the country. And then what happens is now you have more and more mainlanders coming into Hong Kong, living there. And then they have problems with the Hong Kongers because they are nothing like the Hong Kongers. The Hong Kongers tend to have, I don't want to say a British influence, but they tend to be very polite, very proper. They're not spitting, luging, putting hawking loogies. They're not shitting on the street. They're not doing these kind of things. I would say they're a bit more cultured. At least, I'm not saying that there aren't cultured Chinese. Of course there are, but on the whole, the mainlanders that I've seen, and that's the difference between them and the Hong Kongers. The most dangerous aspect of Trump appears to be it's all about him first. Listen, I'm not going to get into about this. Trump is he's a temporary. He'll either be out, in January 1st, he'll be out, or he'll be president for another 4 years, and then he's gone. Okay, then he's gone. That's how it works. He's somebody that right now, yes, he has a lot of influence, a lot of power. He can do a lot of damage. But there's a lot of uncultured people in the world, but for the most part, I would say Hong Kongers and Taiwanese, all of the ones that I've met have been very cultured, very polite, very intelligent, and nothing like some of the mainlanders who tend to be rude. The ones that I've met tend to be rude and a bit crude and obnoxious. And, this is coming from an American, and many people think Americans are obnoxious. So, take that for what it's worth. All right, let me see here. Yeah, Andy, 38% of Australian exports are to China. Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, of course. This is what we've been talking about, is that much of the world is far too reliant upon China. And it's not going to change overnight, but I think slowly but surely countries can pull back. They can find alternative countries. I personally would not use Vietnam, and I don't know that I would use Thailand as a manufacturing hub. I don't know that I would do that, because China has a lot of influence in these regions, in this region. I don't know that I would do that, 238 test positive at work there. South Dakota has 438 cases. In Minnehaha County, they produce 4 to 5% of U.S. pork, move factories to India and Southeast Asia. Well, where are you going to move it to in Southeast Asia? Indonesia? You don't want to do it to Vietnam, because if you think Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and Myanmar, they're all in tight with China. I dare say that they would probably side with China before they side with the United States. Now, I could be wrong. It's my opinion, so don't anybody get all upset in the Thai government or any other government. It's what I believe, though. Who should decide reopening, Trump or the states? Well, that's a good question. I don't think Trump should be the one to decide. And I don't think that the governors should be the ones to decide. I think they probably do have, and they should, have a panel of some of the best experts, the finest experts in this field, in virology, epidemiology, and wherever, whether it's the federal government or the state governments, and then they should make the decision, and they should issue recommendations to Trump, and they should release that. They should say, listen, this is our recommendation, and this is what I'm not saying Trump. I don't think Trump should make the decision. He's not a doctor. No way. Okay? Trump is responsible for over 20,000 deaths, American deaths. That number will go up dramatically. And 20 million unemployed Americans. He is a danger to the country and the world. Sorry. I don't think that he's the guy who's responsible. Yes, the buck stops here at the president. But you know what? Think about something. He's not responsible. Why aren't you talking about China being responsible? Seriously, get fired up about China. Why didn't China release this information? Why did they lie to the World Health Organization? The World Health Organization is a joke. It pisses me off, this guy. This guy pisses me off. He kowtows to China. I mean, it's documented. How about we look at China? Stop thinking about, the president did this wrong. He did that wrong. Oh, my God, he's so bad. He said this. He said that. Jesus Christ. What are you going to do? You're going to put Mark Cuban in there? He's another reality star. Okay? He's another reality star. You're going to put him in. He's going to be completely different than Trump, but he is a reality star nonetheless. But Reagan was in a movie with a chimp. So, it's the state's right to open up their state workforce. It's clearly spelled out in the Constitution, separation of state and federal. This is the basic principle of the founding of the United States. Okay, I understand that. Trump eliminated it, was prepared to handle this, and it started with China for sure, but he didn't respond until months later because he didn't know. Jesus Christ. I hear this shit all the time. I see this. Everybody's saying, he should have done it later. He did it as soon as he was told by his experts. And like I said, Fauci, say what you will about him, whether you like him or not, he was still saying that it was okay for people to go on cruises, and this was in early March. And people were getting pissed off about Trump shutting down the country to China and calling it racist. He's damned. The thing is he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. That's about how it works. You think about it. No matter what he does, he can't win. He's not going to win. Oh, come on. He shut down China because that's what he thought. He said, I just saw the I don't know if it's true or not, because I can't even look on here's the thing. I can't even go to a fact-checking website and believe it because they are, I went to one yesterday, I don't remember the name of it, I could look it up, but, and I went, this is very clearly slighted towards Democrats. Everything is against Republicans in everything they say. They don't have anything negative to say about Hillary Clinton, about, any Nancy Pelosi or any of these people. They don't have any of this. I can't even go to a fact. This is what I'm talking about. There needs to be a change in the world and the way that we approach problems and that we take care of things. And I think the United States is a leader. People look up to the United States, especially the poorer countries. Some countries don't give a damn. They're like, they hate the United States, or they don't like what the United States does, but they're very balanced in how they approach things. Personally, I feel phase in workers based on essential first, test and trace, start sports without fans at first slowly. Testing is number one, despite Trump feeling we don't need to test. Let's see something here. Well, you're saying that we don't need to test, and yet we have almost 3 million tests that took place so far. We have more tests than anybody else. Now, I will say that the total tests per million is lower than many countries. Republicans are incapable of taking responsible for their incompetence. Failed state, 20 million people. Longhorns, there you are. Shouldn't argue with Michael, happy or beyond, because they won't ever be objective about anything. LOL. Michael has the derangement syndrome. Yeah, it sort of seems like it. What, Longhorn? Can't we get along? Can't we all get along? I don't think it's needed. 4 days ago, I don't think it's needed. Trump says widespread nationwide testing isn't necessary to reopen the country. Well, let me see something here. Where's that map that I always refer to? Nine U.S. states planning reopening of economies after coronavirus shutdown. Let's see here. Where's the map? Why are they not giving me the map? I don't have it today. They don't have it on here. Let's see here. Okay, New York, California, and other states planning for reopening as coronavirus crisis eases. 7 northeastern U.S. states and 3 West Coast states banded together on Monday in regional pacts to forge coordinated, gradual economic reopenings as the coronavirus finally appeared to be ebbing, while stressing the need for precautions to avoid a resurgence of infections. I got news for them. And I hate to say this. If South Korea is having resurgences of infection, the United States is going to have them. There's nothing they're going to be able to do with it. This is the thing. People are going to die. It's going to happen no matter who's the president. You can test people. Testing doesn't do shit. It doesn't do anything. All it does is say you have it. It says you have it or you have the antibodies. But it doesn't cure you. So if you got it, you got a small percentage that are going to become, that are going to die. And you have a greater percentage that are going to get sick, and an even greater percentage that is just going to have mild symptoms. Now, let me see here. I've been trying to find let's see here if they have an update. As of yet. It's a little bit early in the morning for the updates to come in. But so far, let's see here. Yeah, only Brazil. South Korea had an extra 27 cases, which is relatively small. 5 dead, though. Mexico is having a hard time. 353 new cases, 36 dead. Sure, we can't do anything about it, unlike Hong Kong, Singapore, North Korea, and Taiwan. What are you talking about? Singapore has slowly become a place of concern. Hong Kong also is becoming, they have become complacent. And they are very small compared to the United States. North Korea. North Korea, what, you're talking about North Korea? Please, get real. Dude, now I know you have absolutely zero knowledge of what's going on. Because North Korea, you don't even know, you might as well be talking about Turkmenistan. You might as well be talking about them because they're not going to tell you shit. They're not going to tell you anything. And while I agree that there are many, many problems in the United States that I would have never thought we would have when I was a kid, when I was growing up, I'm sorry. I didn't hear of any retaliation, but I just kind of skimmed through I didn't have much time, and I skimmed through the press conference. I'm going to watch it. I still have it up on my tab here, one of my tabs, and I'm going to watch it when I'm done. Essential to back up food suppliers with PPE testing safety now. Smithfield warning. That's fine. Okay, like Jono was telling me that when he went into the market, they had a temperature. They had a machine that was testing your temperature. If you got a high temperature, sorry, you're not coming in. Now I think that's great, good, and I think that's probably the wave of the future, at least for the next few years, if not longer. John Hopkins said today, testing is critical to reopening the country. Failure to do so could and will result with a second wave of out-of-control infections. Gradually bringing workforce back with testing will allow monitoring and controlling infections so there's no urgent needs or further shutdown. This guy, wow. Did you watch? Short comparative numbers per capita. Sorry, South Korea. Okay. Well, South Korea is having a resurgence now. I would bet traffic deaths are way down here in the United States. That would be good news. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are better because of this. I hate to say that, but they also said coronavirus does not behave like the flu. It doesn't disappear. Well, this is the other thing is that I've heard and read quite a few things about reactivation and how in South Korea, something like 200 people are now showing signs again who were previously infected. North Korea, 10 cases. Okay. 5 minutes later, 0 cases. Healthcare is a disgrace. Well, we've all known that for a long time, Michael Davies. We've all known that for quite some time. Obama gave it a shot, and I don't think he did very well. But the other thing that you have to consider is that while some countries have great health care, they also have a lot higher taxes, and they're a lot smaller than the United States. So I think that the way to do it is state by state. You put some federal mandate out, and then state by state, they're going to have to control it. But I don't know what the answer is. And if I did, I probably wouldn't be doing a YouTube stream. All traffic deaths are now flu deaths, yeah. Massachusetts insurance companies are giving all policyholder 15% discount of their premiums due to less driving risk. Wow. Extremists are clinging for retaliation, but when you look at the data, China released all the data and even the genome of the virus over a month before the United States took any measures to stop the spread. Yeah, I don't really know, but what I do know is that while they may have released the information in December, they were supposed to have it contained. We didn't know about the first death in our country wasn't until May 1st, or March 1st, rather. Someone's on China's payroll, yes. Also, South Korea and the U.S. had first case on the same day, same info, but South Korea took action with better results. And South Korea is also run differently, and this is a lot deeper than just Trump didn't take action. It's not all Trump's fault. I'm sorry. I don't care if it was Hillary Clinton. I would be saying it's not all Hillary Clinton's problem. Could he have done more? Probably. Do we know all the information? Hell no, and we never will, and that's part of the problem. We don't. In order to be able to make an informed decision, you have to know all the details, and we don't know all the details. and we never will. So that's why I'm hesitant to jump on either side. Just read a great book on healthcare, The Healing of America, A Global Quest for Better, Cheaper, and Fairer Healthcare. Okay. South Korea and U.S. had same info on the same day. Blamer in chief. Oh, really? Michael, why are you not saying that the CCP is to blame for this? That why is it that now? Here's the thing. I will say this, and this is on a micro level, okay? And you can think about this, Michael. Take this to your computer and figure it all out. Why is it that in 2001, 2002, we had SARS. The SARS was a big deal, right? And this came from a market, a wet market. Guess what? This supposedly, by all accounts, came from a wet market, or at least a lab next to a wet market. But it supposedly came from a wet market. Now, you would think that the Chinese, being as authoritarian as they are, they would shut down the wet markets. And at the very least, they would have cleaned them up and put forth some kind of policies that would say, we need better hygiene. You cannot do this, you can do this. And they would implement it to the point to where violators would be severely punished. They have that ability. They could do that. But see, they don't. And guess what? This happened in Wuhan at the market, and all the markets are open again. Why? They're cesspools. They're just pits. That's all they are. And Thailand has a few of its own, but they're not nearly as bad as that. They don't generally stack animal after animal after animal on top of each other that are shitting and pissing and bleeding on top of each other, and then just chopping them up to eat. You can. This is the thing. You can and you have to change the culture of the market. You have to change it. Because guess what? The world is paying for it now. Not just the United States, not just me here in Thailand. The whole world is paying for this. You need to get rid of the markets. At least, you either need to get rid of the ones that can't comply, or you need to have regulations that are going to stifle and suppress these kind of because there's absolutely no reason for this kind of thing to have happened at this market. And some things, I hate to tell you, culture changes over time. Parts of culture are eliminated. This happens either willingly or unwillingly. Hey, Niall. CCP is to blame for the virus. Each country's response to the virus is the responsibility of that country's leader. U.S. could see Italy getting hit hard by this and had the gift of time, but still failed to act accordingly. Okay. The whole world can decide not to play with them also, or let them into your home. Definitely. The whole world, this is why I'm saying the world is in dire need of a change. And one of those changes is holding China accountable and taking some sort of action, whether it be slow and progressively worse or whatever. China's already resisted people coming into their country to look over what's happened. They allowed two WHO people to come in, and for what? To say, oh, they've been completely forthcoming with information. Jesus Christ. And, here's the thing. Why? You guys want to talk about Trump. What about all the other countries? Listen, what are you going to do? Why don't you bash the leader of Italy and Spain? Why don't you bash some of the other leaders? But here's the bottom line. Guess what? We wouldn't have this freaking problem if it wasn't for China. These people wouldn't have to even deal with this. And one thing that I will say is, what leader would be adequately prepared mentally to have to deal with this. I mean, all the other things that the person has to deal with as a leader. And then you have to deal with this kind of nonsense. And that's what it is. China takes no freaking blame for anything. Get that through your head. They take no action when they need to. They lie through their teeth. They break promises. They break pacts. You know, I have absolutely no respect for the CCP. None. They're worthless if you value human life and freedom. China will... okay, if Trump was running a reality show, and he still thinks he is, and a contestant took action, the other doesn't, who does he fire? China won't change. They think everything they're doing is awesome. Of course, that's what they always do. Taiwan flew people to Wuhan and immediately took action. Okay. Let me look at this here. Where are we at here? Hong Kong, 1,010, 4 dead. And I can almost guarantee you those numbers are not accurate. I can guarantee you that Carrie Lam, the leader of the region, special autonomous region, she will lie. Just like she has lied about many, many other things. Let me see here. Where is it? Am I missing something? Let's see. 393 cases and 6 deaths in Taiwan. So very, very few. But they're not out of the woods yet either. Although there is a downward trend, but we'll see. All right, where am I at here? Trump shut down even when the WHO and CDC said they didn't. It was leaked from Xi Zhengli's department at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The CCP scrubbed it. Yeah, I did see that. The CCP, this is the thing. You cannot trust them. When will you people understand this? All you people who want to bash Trump, okay, that's great. You can bash Trump. Okay? He'll have to account for his actions. First of all, he won't be reelected if enough people believe this. But, he has to live with what he's done. And I don't know if there's going to ever be any punishment. I mean, what president gets seriously punished? I don't think that's going to happen. He's not going to get punished for his decisions. But why are you people who concentrating on Trump, not concentrating on what China has done, is doing, and will continue to do? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that you don't focus on that, because that's what's important. American can't handle problems. I'm not defending China. What are you talking about, dude? I didn't call anything a hoax, so let's get that straight. Hong Kong's numbers are nowhere near those in the U.S. despite its density. Carrie Lam's no hero, but they are on it. Carrie Lam is nowhere fucking close to being a hero, Michael Davies. I don't know where you live, if you live in America or where you live, or who you are, because I don't remember seeing you in here ever before. But I can tell you that Carrie Lam is a freaking criminal. Okay? She's a criminal. She's a puppet, and she's a criminal. Yes, we did help create the monster CCP by consuming all the goods made in China. Vote with our dollars and quit buying stuff we don't need. And also, we need to come up with some kind of initiatives or plans, whatever you want to call it, to get our countries out of there. President can't open the country, so he can't lose it either. No way the governor should have shut their states down, would have shut their states down in February because Trump said to, and they could have on their own, but but didn't. Yeah, this is the other thing is that where's the accountability of the governors? Why is nobody bringing them up? SARS, MERS, swine flu, bird flu, viruses mutate to be transferable to humans and mutate to be more or less transferable, more or less deadly. This is easily transferred and mildly deadly. Okay. But January, I will say this. On January 9th, the New York Times, they wrote an article that said that this virus was not transferable human to human. It could not be transferred from human to human. That's what they said. And then a couple of days later, they came out with something different. There should be, what is this? There should be, boy, I can't keep up with these. There shouldn't be hundreds of animals on top of each other spreading germs, bacteria, and other filth that can easily cause a pandemic. Why is this happening in the U.S.? Oh, because we have sanitary regulations that we follow. Yes, that is true. And, I hate to say this, but they are a bit backwards compared to, I think, we're many more modernized. And I say modernized in the sense that the majority of the country is modernized, whereas in China, there are pockets of great modernization. And then when you have these little markets that, they could be from 500 years ago. As an American, the damn media in the U.S. makes my nuts itch. That's a little too much information. They are so hell-bent on blaming Trump for everything that they completely defect the blame of where it belongs with the CCP. I agree. He called it a democratic hoax. Okay. Modern Chinese state built on graves of roughly 20 million murdered by Mao. People need to know this, but the story is purged from the U.S. education system. Listen, China purges damn near everything. Look they purged photos that have Winnie the Pooh on their president's face. What does that tell you about them? You want to talk about thin-skinned? They can have no dissension. And when I see that they have 5G in place, listen, let me tell you something. I was talking about this yesterday. Now, we're going to go over on this stream. We're going to go longer on this stream than I planned because I didn't want to go past 9:30, but I think we're deep in it now. But I agree, David. What is this? Where's David? Oh, yeah. Modern Chinese state built on a graves on well, here's the thing. Greed is what created this. Lived in Hong Kong for years. Xi Zhengli is the smoking gun. Trump's re-election could be bought if he paid her millions to testify in front of Congress. Shit would hit the fan. Yeah, I don't know, would she do that? I don't know if she'd do it, simply for the money. Who knows? She's Chinese. Who knows? She may still feel some sort of mild allegiance. I don't know. This is the thing. I saw somebody say the other day that there probably are Chinese operatives in just about every single country in the world that has different vials of this sort of virus. And if they wanted, they could release it. Now, I wouldn't put it past China to do that, the CCP. I would not put it past their government to do this. If you think they don't lie, if you think they don't cheat, if you think they don't steal, look at their history. It's all they do. They just believe that they will do anything that meets their anything necessary that meets their objectives. And what I was saying earlier is that are we the chowderhead? Is the United States the chowderhead of the world? Yes. Yes. Why is it okay for places to say, hey, we don't want any more immigrants? But when we do it, we're raked over the coal. The government is just vilified. Because maybe there comes a point when you just can't keep accepting people who, because they come from a poor country, they want to come to your country. I understand. But you got to have something to offer. What are you going to offer? You're going to be a day laborer? Okay, we're not going to let you become a resident as a day laborer. You get a temporary work permit. Let's see where we are here. Trump keeps effing up even when it's critical. I don't think it's needed. Trump says widespread nationwide. Listen, don't keep harping on that. They've done, what? How many tests did I say? Almost 3 million tests. My guess is they're going to surpass everybody, probably tenfold by the time they're done. Okay? Not concentrating on Trump, pointing out the blame game is not of any value. All we have is opportunity to react the next time we have a pandemic. Well, I disagree. And the reason and it has nothing to do with Trump. It's because we have to hold China, the Chinese government, accountable. And the reason is because they have done this several times. They've allowed this to happen or willingly let it happen too many times. And there have been no repercussions. And the thing is that if we wait much longer, then we won't be able to act against them. I think the time to act is right now, and I think what Japan's doing is a brilliant move. Get your businesses out of there. It's going to hurt for a while, but guess what? You know what? What happened to patriotism? What happened to nationalism? Why is it so wrong for people to say, hey, make America great again? Or just to say, I'm proud of America, whatever. I love America. For all its faults and, I take it warts and all. Oh, you can't even do that now. You can't even put an American flag out sometimes without people bashing you. What the hell is going on? I'm sick of this stuff, really. Michael, if you live in the U.S., maybe you should move if you hate everything there. Well, I agree. I was going to say that, but, I'm always hesitant to say that. Yes, I did see the video. The Chinese government has you fooled. And haven't I been saying this stuff even since I was in Hong Kong? And, I've never been I've been to China a couple of times, like I've said. And one time, it was during the Olympics. That was 12 years ago. And I had a good time because I was working. Because I was taken care of by young college students. They helped me with anything I needed. When I went out, though, I could only go out to a certain area. If I went past that area, then I had to go through a whole rigmarole, and I didn't want to do that. It was a pain in the ass. They made it difficult for you to go outside of the area that they allowed the journalists to go to. And, then when you're coming in, you had all these checks and everything. And, that was not too bad. But all in all, that was a very good experience. The second time was not. It wasn't a terrible experience by any means. But it gave me a closer look at how they are, man, these are coming at me fast and furiously. I cannot keep up here. The only way to make changes and weaken the CCP is to industrialize, and developed nations need to unite, move operations out of China, and make no future investments in China, cutting off the money. I agree. His entire career since 2003 has been transmitted of bats. I know that, and I've seen that. I agree with you that there needs to be a change with CCP, and they need to be held accountable. And not only does there need to be a change and try to get them out, but you need to make sure that and this is a mistake we've made several times throughout history. If you're going to help or you want another government to come into power, aside from the CCP, for instance, you need to make sure that that government is not going to be worse than the government you're replacing. I'm concerned about the patients that are currently in hospitals now. Street food standards would not pass reasonable food safety regulations. Listen, patient zero was possibly her student. All right, possibly doesn't cut it right now. It was a girl whose identity was scrubbed from the internet and the website. They deleted her thesis and everything. Holly, that's old news from 2 to 3 weeks ago. We all heard that. Hold on, I will dig up her name again. Greed plus stupidity equals crying. There's experts that said it's not man-made. I understand there's a lot of experts that have said it's not man-made. Now, I will say, as far as the street food standards go, I will say, Jono, he refuses to eat street food even here. He's like, hey, I know what goes on. I see, and I know about food. And the standards here are not what they should be. And I'm like, listen, I agree to a small percentage of the places are probably, well, not probably, a small percentage of places are filthy. And their practices are inappropriate. They need to do more. But there are a large number of places that are just fine. And the other thing is that there are rats here. Now, this is a problem here in Bangkok right now because the vendors aren't out and they're not dropping food. They're not leaving food. They're not throwing out garbage because they're not working. And so the rats are having to come out and look for food. This stream is good. Well, thank you very much, Alvin. I appreciate that. Greed is listen, what is it? Avarice and greed? Isn't that in that song? What is it? Let me see if I can find out. Avarice and greed. Let's see here. What is the name of that? World Party Ship of Fools. I can't remember. There's a song, and it's a very famous song, and I can't. Is it Ship of Fools? Let me see here. Maybe I can pull that up. Let's see here. Yeah, who's World Party, Avarice, and Greed? I don't know if that's the name of the song that I'm thinking of. I'd like to see the lyrics. Here we go, lyrics. I love that you can get the lyrics for all the songs. Avarice, I'm gonna drive you over the endless sea. They will leave you by the shore. Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is the song. It's called Avarice. It's called Ship of Fools by World Party. Okay, Trump is doing great. I think he could be doing a lot worse. And I think he knows, hey, man, this is something that is nothing like he's ever experienced or anybody else has ever experienced, and he better do the best job he can. And I believe at the very least he's trying, and he's not doing it all for him. He's not talking about hydrochloroquine because he has a small interest in some stock that he doesn't even know about. Okay? That, it's ridiculous. All right, where am I? Good luck with produce without day laborers. Well, there are ways to allow day laborers to come into the country without having them be illegal. It is not an engineered virus. No, I don't believe it is. What is this? Let's see here. Oh, I gotta laugh. I put Serpent ZA. I put his video up in my Facebook Facebook page, and it was very good. And to be honest, he's a lot more knowledgeable about China than I am or ever will be. He's lived there. But he left for a reason, and so did that Lao Wai. He left for a reason. Many people have left for good reason. When I was in Hong Kong, I met a German journalist, a female. I saw her all the time, and we talked at length. She was based in Beijing, and she's like, when I go back, I'm out of here. I don't want to be there anymore. It's just they're too restrictive. Everything you do, they want to know everything you do, everything you write. They want to know everything. That was good. Oh, yeah, they'll suddenly spring to action. Hope so. I doubt it. Well, you're very positive, Michael. I can see that. Listen, I'm a pessimist, but I'm a realist. And I can say that I call you someone who's extremely negative, especially about your own country, if that's where you're from. With them, it's only good if it is convenient. Sure, China should be held accountable, but not Trump. How are you going to hold him accountable? How are you going to hold him? What are you going to do? Impeach him again? Good luck. Go ahead and try. Michael's about to fall off the left cliff. The far left cliff. I want to see this message. Multi-country scientists studying the genome concluded animal to human, not a lav. Sorry, tinfoil hats. Jesus. Because America isn't great. I never said America was great, to be completely honest. I think it has some great attributes, just like Thailand. But I also think there's a lot of negatives. You can always find negatives. Listen, you can find plenty of negatives with me. I'm sure my wife can. She could find, 100 negatives about me. But she could probably find 500 positives if she really wanted. USA is the best. He's waiting to cash that Trump check before he leaves. Stopping immigration is easy. No walls are needed. Those who give illegal immigrants jobs should be fined with mandatory jail time. Well, they are fined. Obviously not enough. Those who provide a place, illegal immigrants a place to live, should pay with fines. What my big concern about illegal immigrants, there are some illegal immigrants they're genuinely good people. But a large number of them are not. And this has been proven. And for me to see somebody come into the country, they get arrested because they beat some old lady or robbed her or killed her. And then they get released. And they don't get deported. They get released. And then they do the same thing over again. How stupid are you? Seriously. It's got to that point where I'm shaking my head going, listen, I'm no genius, pal, but I'm not as dumb as you are. Why would you let this guy, that's like, listen, that's like you need like the jailhouse logic when it comes to dealing with these people. You don't need, we've got to think about this guy's rights. And what rights? He's fucking illegal. He's a fucking illegal. What does that mean? He's in the country illegally. Now, if they mind their own business and they're not bothering anybody and they're helping contribute, listen, I understand. And I would, if I was in their position, I probably would do the same thing. I'd try to get it illegally. It doesn't mean it's right, though. I live in China and fully understand. Everyone hates America until they need them. Until they need help from them. Until they have they're able to go to America and they can get a job there and all that kind of thing. Look at the case in Minnesota. Look at the case in Minnesota where you have a group of, what were they, Sudanese or Somalians? And they wanted to pray when they wanted to pray. And the boss said, listen, you got to pray during your break. You can't just pray whenever you feel like it. And they got all pissed off and decided to leave. And they were going to file complaints and everything, but they didn't come back to work, and they got fired. And then they got pissed off because they got fired. Listen, if you don't like it, tough shit. Get out. Go. This is our rule, our rules, and this is our country. You're coming over to our country. Eventually, you will become a citizen if you stay here long enough. And you will have every right that is afforded to you. And guess what? If I said to somebody, oh, my break is at 9, but you know what? I'm going to take my break, and I want to take another break at 10:30 because I want to pray. They're going to go, what are you talking about? Then get your own business. Start your own business. Do something else where you are responsible only to yourself. You're not responsible to everybody else that's on the line, the production line. And that's what it was. Punished for actually, everyone hates a cop until they need one. That's true. Dig your podcast, though don't take it personally. I don't take it personally. We have what I do like, and what I hope we can continue to do here is have spirited debates and not get so we don't have to get personal and attack each other and that kind of thing. We don't have to like each other or each other's opinion or whatever, but we do need to be respectful. Now, I'm looking for something here. Where is it? I can't find it. Let's see here. I got notes everywhere. Can't. Oh. You study. I saw this the other day. You study politics, and this is, I guess, from Plato. You study politics so you know what's going on and how it will affect you. And you can use that to make your decisions. And, that's the thing. Why would you vote for somebody if you don't know what the people are doing that are up for election? Don't ever say the U.S. is leading in deaths in that manner again. That's bull. Who said that? Did I say that? I don't think I said that. Although they do have 23,640 right now. But I don't necessarily believe all the figures. I don't know if I believe I think it's very difficult to accurately calculate the figures. That's about 20% of all the deaths. Thailand come up with anything yet? No. All right, let me keep going on here. The infection rate in the United States is reasonably contained, and the death rate is relatively low compared to other countries. This is due to hospital bed availability. Let's see here. The deaths per million is 71. Deaths per million in Spain is 380. Deaths per million in Italy, 338. Deaths per million in France, 229. In the UK, 167. Germany is 68. Let's go down to Thailand. Wow. Turkey is 724. I don't know if you guys know, but my friend Steve from Steve's Kitchen on YouTube is in Turkey. He's hunkered down for the most part. They're starting to have more problems there in Turkey. Thailand's... Where's Thailand? There we are. Thailand is 0.6 deaths per million. So, take that for what it's worth. I can imagine the real numbers for China. Exactly. U.S. has a bad track record in regime change. Yes, they do. I know that. And that's why I'm saying, listen, we have to be very careful. You know what it is be careful what you wish for. Who head person is from... Where am I at here? Man, this is... Who head person is from Ethiopia. Yes, I know that. Ethiopia's taking billions from China, so there you go. Not only that, They continue to receive money from China, as do many countries in Africa. We shouldn't be in the regime change thing, and I agree with that. And if the way to effectively, I think, change a regime is to do it, you have to do it indirectly. You can't just, China owns Ethiopia and probably groomed it. They did groom him. Oh God, please, we're going into a depression. Well, we're definitely in a recession. I hate getting the lyrics for all songs. Keep finding out I've been singing the wrong one. Howard Stern and Cuomo this morning. Didn't hear it all, but I like what it said. Yeah, I saw that, actually. I don't know if it was this morning. It was this morning for you, but I heard it, I think, late last night. The greed line came from the movie Wall Street. We're going to greed is good. The only reason the U.S. is publicly claiming it leaked from a Wuhan lab is because of the implications of that. Trillions of dollars on the line. The U.S. would have to do something about it to show justice to its constituency if they didn't help the CCP cover it up. Holly, it's not true. Pasteur Institute designed and built a lab in Wuhan. Only U.S. connection was the recent Harvard researcher who got arrested. And the funds that they gave. The $3.7 million. For a good analysis of the data of this virus, you should take a look at Voice of Thunder channel. He's an independent scientist. In nearly daily updates, and all his predictions have been right. Okay, good. Longhorn's apologies, you were right about was stated in a poor manner. Peace. Have a big U.S. flag flying anyways. Good. I think you should be proud of your country for the most part. And I think, in the United States, be proud of your country. You have a lot to be proud about. That's how I look at it. There's a reason why so many people, and believe me, there are lots of people who want to go to the United States. And I hear it all the time. Not so sure about Longhorns. I don't know. He broke my heart once too many times. Well, somehow I think you'll get over it. This would be a perfect time for Team America 2 to come out if they ever made one. U.S. is leading deaths, but they have a greater population, yes. I'm sure China is still leading in deaths. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I didn't claim they helped cover up the actual event. I meant they are covering up information about the CCP and the Wuhan lab being responsible for the leak. Listen, we're guessing. We are guessing. I did see that 80% of the people on ventilators, once they go to ventilators, they die. That's not good, obviously. The Thailand figures are an anomaly. Either the testing and reporting is not accurate or the measures taken in combination with hot weather is pervading the spread. Yeah, I kind of wonder what's going on here. I don't know. But the numbers are dropping, but what I read was that Prime Minister Prayut has said that we need to stay at it. We, as in the people who are in Thailand, need to stay at it and to stay at home and to keep the social distancing, because many of the other countries are just now starting to show signs and are starting to get worse, which is like Singapore, which I said there's 365 people yesterday. Now they have more people infected than Thailand, if you look at the numbers. What about, say, Cambodia or Myanmar? I know Myanmar, I think they had their first death. You got Bangladesh, but that's not really a surrounding country, so. Vietnam, 265. Now, they acted pretty quickly and just completely blocking people from coming into the country and from Westerners from getting visas to get into the country. They acted very, very quickly. Cambodia, only 122. And I don't know, it seems to me that the poorer countries, many of the poorer countries, and make no mistake, Thailand is not a poor country. They may not be as wealthy as the United States, but they're not really a poor country. So you can't... Philippines is a much poorer country than Thailand. And there's a lot more people in poverty, although that is growing in Thailand. The number that are living under the poverty level is growing here, very slowly. But it is increasing. They were not a good video for everyone to watch YouTube channel, animated stats view. I never watched that animated stats stuff. I can't watch it just because I don't agree with Beyond Trinity, only how he states certain things while trimming off a little fat. Yeah, I think Beyond Trinity, he focuses on what he wants to focus on. I can see that, but that's what most people do. So, hey, people, hey. Yes, Starbucks coffee still costs $5.50 in Thailand, so it's not poor. Listen, I stopped drinking espresso from there. I used to go every single day. Many years ago, before I even started streaming, I used to go to Starbucks quite regularly. Before there were 3 Starbucks in the mall, Bangkok, I used to go there all the time. And, it was, what was it? It was a pittance. It was 60 baht or something. At the time, that was about $2. Now it's 105, and while the strength of the dollar is getting stronger, so the cost is going down a little bit. Watch, they'll raise the price again shortly to 110 baht. I won't stop going if I ever get back, but damn. Well, like for me, what it means is I don't mind drinking coffee from what is it, Black Canyon Coffee? Not Black Canyon. Cafe Amazon. 35 baht. It's like $1. A little more than $1. So, that's great. And then you got something that's 3 times as much, and it doesn't really taste better. I mean, listen, I had my espresso today, and I wish my kid was up. I'd have him make me another because I'm entrenched in this conversation, and I'm enjoying it. But if you go to Starbucks and you're getting some of the food drinks, forget about it. Some of them are like $9, $8. $8 for a little food drink. I won't stop going. Yeah, Amazon is good, but it's not many. I don't really notice the difference. And then, I mean, listen, I bought some, usually I used to buy Illy. And, it's a bit expensive. It's a bit expensive. And, I mean, it's 680 baht for a 250 gram can. Then they have this, not Doi Tun, but Doi Chang. And it's 270 baht for 250 grams of coffee. And it's good. It's as good as Cafe Amazon or Starbucks. The other day, I wanted some coffee, and I was like, man, I've already spent a lot on groceries. Well, this is, I don't know, a week or so ago, week and a half ago. And it was April 7th, so it's a week ago. And I bought this Bon Aroma, and it was like 135 baht. You know what? My kid he ground, I got beans. He ground them all up. And guess what? He dumped them in with the other stuff. And I'm like, I could see the difference in color. And I was like, whatever. I mixed it up. Can't tell any difference. So either my taste buds, my palate is not very good, or the coffee is similar. So it doesn't really matter. No country can make any real statement against CCP without hard evidence being geopolitical chips and money. You know what, Beyond Trinity, I think that at this point, the number of, what's the word I'm looking for? Digressions? Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know if it is. Let me see here. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. I can't remember what I'm trying to say, how I'm trying to say it. But anyway, the number of acts that they have committed over the years, and what they're doing, threatening with holding back some of our pharmaceuticals and that sort of thing. We really need to stop pussyfooting around and playing old school politics where everybody thinks, hello, chap. Yes, my good lad, it's very good to see you. Yes, sir. Okay, let's shake hands on that deal. We're all going to be in this together and make a lot of money. We're all going to do very well. I hope your country prospers, my friend. Listen, all that's thrown out the door. It's out the door. Listen, you lying, cheating mother. You guys have showed us time and time again this is what you've done. China, because of the CCP, should be ostracized by every country. Now, North Korea, Russia, and Iran are not going to do that. They should be ostracized. They are a global pariah. And that's how they should be treated. The trick is to not really let everything out too soon. Because we have too many interests at stake. We have too many stakes involved in the country. We're just, you got to get the countries out of there. And it's going to take a long time. And this is the problem. We need to start doing this right now. We needed to do it yesterday. The fact that they would threaten the United States with withholding pharmaceuticals, that's scary. Then what did they do the other day where they said, we'll give you masks if you allow us to go in with our 5G. Now, I don't know if you do any research about 5G. It's scary, man. I don't want people being able to follow me simply by face recognition because they got cameras everywhere. I don't want that. And what I want to talk about maybe in another stream is what is our future? What does our future look like? What's going to happen? I want to travel, and now they're going to say, "Do you have your 5G? Have you registered yet?" No, I don't want to. Well, then you can't fly. Austria Garden Centers. I don't know what Austria Garden Centers is. Do-it-yourself stores and small shops will open as a part of step-by-step plan to restart the economy. But, the other thing is that the Southeast Asian countries are relatively small compared to, say, the United States, the UK, Australia. So, I don't know, and I think that it's been slower to hit for some reason. Maybe it is the heat. I don't know. Did you see Bill? I haven't had a chance to watch Bill Mayer's latest video on China, and he is very good. I don't always agree with what he says, but he is very good. Xinjiang is frightening, and the control tech for sale Orwellian future. Yes, and that's very, very scary. What they have done to the Muslims and the Uyghurs, rather, and the Tibetans, and in Hong Kong is. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a proper adjective. Despicable is a good word. Disgusting. Where is this? Why does the Western left always seem to be on the same side? Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. Because they're idiots? Problem isn't government, but companies. Companies chase the dollar and dictate wherever they go. Well, this is something else that I'm talking about. Okay, reprehensible, great word, Sky Trooper. Thank you. How you doing? This is something that I was going to talk about, and I don't know the answer, and I'm definitely not advocating, some kind of socialist society or some commune or something like that. That's not what I'm advocating. But the lengths that companies go to increase their bottom lines, that there needs to be some kind of ethics that they adhere to. and they decide, hey, listen, these are some lines that we're not going to cross. And I doubt that some of these companies have them. Because it's like, oh, where can we get this? Oh, well, it's going to cost 3 times more in the United States. So we can't do that. Well, how about you take a little bit less money off the? You're making billions. How about you make a few billion less? Why don't governments say no? Pharma needs to stay in the U.S. No, military parts need to stay in the U.S. So on. Yeah, that's what's really scary is that some of the military parts that we have in our military are made by Chinese. How stupid is that? American consumerism plays a role in this. Money fuels the fire. Well, we are a huge, massive consumer. Our future is 5G and Big Brother. Well, not in my lifetime. Believe me, and I was talking to several people, Richard, Jono, and several other people. If that kind of thing ever happens, I'm gone. I'm disappearing. I'll find a way. I'll find a little plot of land somewhere out in the middle of wherever it may be, and I'll become a hermit because by the time this takes place, and I don't see it happening in the next few years, it may be 10 years. That would put me at about 68 years old. I want to live for another 20 years, but I don't want to live to where my every move is tracked by any government, period. Travel or even move to a new condo may receive a health certificate. Well, I understand the health certificate. I can understand that for now. But the problem is going to be that from now on, there's going to be some stipulations put forth. And, maybe they're going to say, listen, I talked about it the other day, and I forgot what it's called. It's called the Q dot or something like that. And Gates is the one who's talking about it, where they stick they put a little invisible dye in you that carries some of your information, your medical records. I don't want people having access to it. Why should they? It's my information. What are they going to do? They're going to drag everybody? Because I guarantee you there's a lot of people just like me. They're going, no, man, you're not going to stick me with that so that everybody knows what's going on with me. I don't want that. Oh, well, then guess what? You can't go out of your city. I don't see that happening in the United States anytime soon, but you never know. They don't want to agree with Trump or on China. They've gone insane. They don't even talk policy much. It's all about Russia, then Ukraine. Yeah, now China. Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to admit that the Democrats, they are reaching. I can't stand the turtle boy. What's his name? Adam Schiff. He's a turtle. And he's a turtle in more ways than one. I can't stand him. If the CCP is so great, where are all the countries out there denouncing the imprisonment of Muslim Uyghurs and organ harvesting? And we believe Well, I understand that, David. That's what I'm saying. Why is it that they can get away with all this stuff? Well, obviously they're a huge power politically, economically, and militarily, more so than we may know. So, I think it's time to wake up, man. Get a plot in Isan. Well, I won't be living in Isan. I'll be living in the South. I don't think I'll ever live in Isan. Sensationalism on Trump. NBC bad news reporting. Unfortunately, Big Brother will be rolled out first all over Asia because Asian cultures embrace collectivism over the individual by and large. They don't respect the value of civil liberties. You already see it in China. Yeah, I agree, Holly, and that's when it's time for me to leave. And I will have to say, I have to make some hard choices for our family. We'll have to talk about. We're already talking about it. Not in the next 6 months or a year, but I'm talking about maybe 5 years, 10 years. I hate to say that because I do. There's a lot of things I love about Thailand, and I love the people for the most part. Trump is a saint beyond criticism. I don't believe that. The next Mao, a true cult hero. Oh, come on. Please don't compare him to Mao. No, Michael, but give me a better option. Biden? Yeah, Biden? Hillary Clinton? Come on! Sanders, but surely you'll be down on him. Well, guess what? Sanders isn't an option. And so what I think about Sanders makes not a bit of difference. The Uyghurs are already being tracked with facial recognition 5G technology, which is going to be unveiled on all of us. That is a very, very worrisome. I agree with you, David. That is extremely worrying for me because, listen, I don't think anybody. Where do you stop? Oh, listen, we're going to put cameras in all your rooms in your house to make sure that you don't do anything you shouldn't do. You can't smoke marijuana in this state, so guess what? We're gonna to make sure that you don't. We're gonna put cameras in, and you have to have cameras in every one of your rooms so that we can make sure you're not breaking the law. Because that way we're more secure and we can prevent crime. I'm writing in Jesse Ventura. Social credit scores are the scariest. Yes, they are. Hey, Carl, I want to vote for someone instead of voting against just to get them out of there. Yeah, I agree. It's better to vote for someone than simply because you want to vote against someone else. Well, yeah, but, Michael, this is the thing. This is the system we have. And if you don't like it, then you need to figure out how to make the change. Listen, anybody can criticize. That's the thing. It's very easy and I know this, it's very easy for a journalist, whether a very, very serious political journalist or any other kind of analytical journalist or whatever. Thank you very much, Sky Trooper. Appreciate that. From a lovely libertarian. Let's see here. Where was I at here? He's not on his sheep farm. But, if you want to do something about it, then do something. And the way you do it on a small scale is with your vote. That's how you do it. And that's the only thing you can do. He's not an option because the system won't allow us. We are already having monitoring in Boston. There's more surveillance cameras than 9/11 and Marathon bombing. A few years ago, they tested high-tech microphones to know where the gunshots are fired from. I mean, yeah. Where is the limit on privacy? Where does privacy end and security begin? And I think that's a very difficult and it's an ethical decision. Your party is so corrupt, especially the way they treated Bernie. And no, I'm not saying the Republicans aren't corrupt. I agree with that. I believe the U.S. will fall to it because its youth embrace anything on the left CCP spectrum. Now, I don't agree with that. Gates did mention the possibility of having a digital certificate for health records eventually. Yes, and he also is working on this thing called the Q dot or something like that, and that's exactly what it will do. It's a digital certificate. It's invisible. They would simply they would have some kind of, I don't know how they would do it, but obviously it's very advanced. They would basically give you a shot. They'd stick something under your skin. It's invisible. It's a dye, and it would hold all your medical records inside. I voted. Well, good. Are you concerned with the Chinese influence on Thailand? Definitely. Sorry, I'm not that powerful. I do volunteer work. Okay, well, I understand that too, and that's the thing. We all talk a good game. There's a lot of things I don't like. Stuff I hate about politics. But, and I hate about leaders, good or bad. And I used to not care about politics, and that was a mistake on my part, I think. But then again, I wasn't really into anything but having a good time when I was young, Governments install more surveillance equipment for public safety. It will then move into our daily life as more freedoms are taken away. And I think that's one of the big considerations now by people and by various organizations who study this and are into this. I think that, like I said, there's a fine line between our freedom and our safety. Anyone that, I forget the quote, and I don't want to butcher it, the quote about, when you substitute safety for freedom or whatever, I forget how it goes. but it's a. I thought it was Benjamin Franklin, but I don't think it is actually. I looked at it before. We've talked about this before. Yeah, here it is. Let's see. It is Franklin, apparently. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Okay. Wow. This is this is an NPR. They had this on. I searched it and it came up on NPR. Ben Franklin was innovative, but it's fair to say he didn't imagine a future of cell phones and all the privacy issues that come with them. Still, his words are often applied to such issues. Take our conversation last week about police technologies with the Virginia State Delegate Richard Anderson. Okay. This is something else. I mean, I see all these videos, and I don't particularly like them because I find them to be a rabbit hole, but I see these videos of these people who are filming police, and the police are going, "You can't film me. You can't film me." I mean, in most cases, you can't. And it's like, why doesn't the policeman know this? I mean, that's pretty important right now. In these days, you would think that they would know. Anyone that believes Democrats are better than Republicans are sane and vice versa. Republicans aren't any... yeah, okay, I agree with that. Which is why I say, why don't we do the... we do the Final Four thing. We get like 16 people, and they all debate, and they all campaign, and then you nail it, you knock it down to 8, then you knock it down to 4, and then you knock it down to 2. They don't have a party. There's no label associated with them. And that's what we do. The Final Four of politics. And that's, overly simplified, of course, but... And during the stimulus, Nancy Pelosi wanted to introduce a digital U.S. dollar. Yeah, that's nice. Nancy Pelosi, I wish she'd just go away. Written like a news article, the Post misleading says it's quantum.die. Yes. You can do volunteer work, though. Recommend it. It's not going to happen right now. And if I do, and I've done some volunteer stuff that is not formal volunteer work. Watch some of the videos in Clanc d'Oeil. Read up on carte vitale. Every person in France has this card. It's secure. Hold all your medical records, service return, and payment. France is introducing carte vitale 2 with picture ID. It's all about tiptoeing this society in. If Bernie has any balls, he could kick Biden's ass. Fed digital dollars are part of debate over coronavirus stimulus. Now, you see, I'm sorry, but that has no place in the debate at all. You want to debate this? Debate it at a later time. Don't debate it now. It has nothing to do with this. Carte vitale was mentioned in healthcare book I mentioned. France doesn't have a $500 billion medical administration cost we have in the U.S. Listen, let's just talk about one thing. We are trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. One day, we're going to have to pay the piper. It is scary that technology is almost becoming like the movie THX 1138 and our freedoms being lost. I haven't seen that, or I don't remember it. My favorite Franklin quote goes something like, God created beer because he wanted us to be happy. Yeah, I like that one. And I also like, what's the one? Where's it at here? Stop trying to make everyone happy. You are not tequila. I like that one too. All right, where's all this coming from? Oh. Mr. Longhorns, you transferred a photo to me that is of an exquisite female. Let's see here. All right, let me go on further here. I had a boyfriend in France. Everyone there is broke and hates living there. I've read a lot of books about a British guy by a British guy. What's his name? Stephen. What is it? Where is this book? Stephen. What the hell's his name? How come I can't find it? I got a couple of his books. I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Stephen Clark. It's always the Mayrd factor. The Mayrd this, Mayrd that, Mayrd happens. The Mayrd factor. It's pretty good. Let me see where I'm at here. It's not horizontal. It's not vertical. Right and left are the same bird of prey. Don't get tricked by nonsense. France has one of the best healthcare in the world. The argument for police not being filmed is an officer safety issue. Weak argument, but an argument. Yeah. Bill Gates is shady. He openly campaigned for global vaccines. Discussed about COVID health certificate to return to work, shop, etc. It's being used to implement this on a global scale. It's scary. I don't know that he's doing it purposely, like to be shady and to get something from it, as opposed to trying to help people. I don't know. I haven't really looked into that very much. I do know that he's talked about this, and I did a little bit of I looked at a couple of articles real quick. But he, it's all about intention. So, if you figure out exactly what his intention is, then you kind of know, okay, well. But the thing is that even if his intention is good, and it's implemented, then the people who are implementing it can use it for, they can use it for evil. Watch the Jimmy Dore show. It shows how stupid the Democratic Party is. They make it easy for Trump, and he hates Trump. I don't trust Bill Gates either. Bernie has plenty of balls. The media has the power. And this is a problem, that the media has a lot of power. And a lot of people, they don't, they believe, they end up believing what is opinion and analysis. They don't know what the facts are. And I think it makes it very difficult to determine what the truth is, what the best decision is, when you can't even find out what the truth is. I'm telling you, I went to a couple fact-checking sites the other day, and I was like, what the hell? I can't even determine if these are true, because they seem slighted to one side. There's this massive, Bernie let the DNC crack his balls. There's just a massive hidden inflation. The CPI is not the true indicator of inflation. They change the basket of goods every year, and essentially they're cooking the books. The DNC is 99% of the media. If you go by the 1980 method, it's like 5 to 6 a year instead of 1. U.S. banks must improve federal funds to small business this week, or many go under and not return. They've already approved $300 billion. Well, they're also talking about the second stimulus package for including individuals. There's been talk of that. And the reason I know this is because I was very surprised to find out that while I am supposedly eligible for a stimulus check, even though I have dependents, they, being the ages that they are not eligible. I can't collect because they're dependents. I cannot collect $500 for each kid. Now, that's because it has to be below 17. But as dependents, they are considered legal dependents. But in the next round, what they're saying is they will allow dependents who are 17 to 24. So they will bump it up a little bit. I don't know if that's going to happen, obviously, but who knows? But, maybe it's necessary. I don't know. No one thinks for themselves anymore. Yes, the banks are stalling, paying out to small businesses. Need leadership fast. They can collect if they file a tax return, even if it's for zero. They could collect. Yeah, maybe my son Alex could collect. I guess Nicholas could. Maybe they can collect on their own. Yeah, it's going to run out this weekend, so it's not that bad. Happiest days. It has some issues, but these things always will. Videotape showing South Carolina cop who shot the guy in the back who was running away, who later died. The cop lied in the report. Video came out. Cop went to jail. I wish everything ran perfectly, but it never does. No, it never does. Well, actually, I think since my son Alex is he's over 18, he could file the non-filer using the non-filer button, but he doesn't have a U.S. bank account. So I don't know what would have to happen, but whatever. I'm not so worried about the. I mean, it would be nice to have it. It'd be nice to have the extra 1,000 from both of them, and then also my wife. But my wife doesn't have a social security number, and then if my wife was to be eligible, then they would ask that she has to pay taxes on what she earns here, which is freaking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it was "Ship of Fools." I remember that song. That was a good song. Where are we at here? Wow, we're way over. We're at 2 hours and 20 minutes now, something like that. 2 hours and 20 minutes. So we'll go to 2:30, and that'll be it. That'll be it. What I was going to talk about a couple other things though. I mean, we got all into this, and we got into it deep, which was nice. Now, there is a situation, I don't know if anybody knows, but the African community in Guangzhou, if you watch that video by Serpent ZA, you'll know what I'm talking about. But they're on edge after widespread accounts were shared on social media of people being left homeless this week as China's warnings against imported corona virus cases stoke anti-foreigner sentiment. And there is a little bit of that here, but not nearly like it is in China. So let me give you the link to that. Yeah, I don't particularly like the whole FATCA, Patriot Act, and all that other BS. So in China now, what they're doing is they're rounding up all the Africans, and they're saying, "Oh, well, they're all illegals." But the Africans that are coming out talking about it, they're like, "No, I'm not illegal. I'm legal." And they just came to my place. I paid the rent on my apartment, and I've got I guess first and last month or whatever it is. They paid for their money. They paid their money for to live in the place, and they just get booted out. Sorry, you're evicted. In the southern Chinese city of Guangzhou, Africans have been evicted from their homes by landlords and turned away from hotels, despite many claiming to have no recent travel history or known contact with COVID-19 patients. CNN interviewed more than 24 Africans living in Guangzhou, many of whom told of the same experiences, being left without a home, being subject to random testing for COVID-19, and being quarantined for 14 days in their homes, despite having no symptoms or contact with known patients. Move camp comes amid heightened media coverage of the so-called second wave of coronavirus cases emanating from infections outside of China. Earlier this week, Chinese President Xi Jinping urged authorities to carefully watch for imported cases from other countries, state news agency Xinhua reported. Xinhua. If you don't claim your older kid's under tax, he can file by himself. Well, then the thing is he's going to get a check. How's he going to cash the check? I'd have to mail it probably, I don't know, maybe I can deposit it in my own account. I don't know. He'd have to sign it over to me. I claim my kid on my taxes, but he's not eligible for this stimulus package because he'll be 19 in May 8th. So he's 18 right now. All right, Longhorns, take it easy. Thanks for for all the input. Appreciate it. Let's see here. If you don't close on. LU 347 and Senate for an attempt to escape from a futuristic society located beneath the surface of the earth. The society has outlawed sex with drugs used to control the people. George Lucas. I remember seeing the THX. I remember that, but I don't know. Yeah, I've never watched the movie. I'll have to put that on my list to watch, and now's a good time to watch it. But I want to say thank you to everybody for contributing in this conversation. We didn't have any trolls, which is great. And we had a spirited debate / conversation, which is great, and that's what I like. And if we're going to do this, where we're talking about this kind of thing, or news articles and that kind of thing, I think we need to keep it somewhat civil. We can get excited, we can get a little testy, but I think we need to remember to keep it civil and polite at all costs. Oh, is that what it was? Yeah, I remember about that, but I don't know. I got too many things floating around in my head. My just like my hard drives that I have, all my external hard drives. My brain is an external or internal hard drive that is completely full, and something's got to give for me to remember stuff. So I may have seen that movie. I did see V for Vendetta. I don't remember it though. So the lab in Wuhan is part of a network of similar labs from the United States and other countries. Weren't we civil and polite tonight? Yes, you were. Thank you, James. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the contributions. Let me see where I'm at here. Well, thank you, Carl. Thank you very much. Appreciate all the support and you watching. I like to know what you're watching. I saw it in the drive-in as a boy. I used to go to the drive-in all the time. I was telling my kids about that, and they're like, really? You used to go in with a car? And how do you listen to stuff? And I told them about how you put it in there, and I used to tell them about how, guys used to go there with their girls, and they used to make out with them and stuff, and, do all kinds of stuff in the back seat. Anyway, this stream has run its course. Wow, a long course, 2.5 hours. So it's time to say goodbye. If you can, stay inside. Wear a mask. Don't be scared to wear a mask. I think it is important, but don't be sticking your fingers inside the mask. All countries have BLL4, SP4 lab for research of highly dangerous infections. Well, let's hope that they don't let any of these infections get out in the future. Swati Pimai. Oh, Swati Pimai. Thank you. Stay safe. Stay inside. Do what you got to do to, wash your hands and all that kind of stuff. Don't forget. Don't get complacent. Don't think you can just go out and go wherever you want and, nobody's going to be around. For the most part, that's not going to work. If you have yet to subscribe, please do so. Please make sure to click on the bell to make sure you get notified of when I'll be streaming or when a video goes up. I'm either going to stream on Thursday or Friday. I'm kind of leaning towards Friday because doing them every day is a little too much for me. Yes, just say no to the CCP. That was Nancy Reagan. Oh, wait, she said just say no to drugs. But anyway, I'm saying, and Beyond Trinity's saying, we're saying say no to the CCP. It may be harmful to your health. U.S. labs have had numerous egregious leaks. You can only imagine China as well. Yeah. So yeah, click like, share, leave a comment. If you like what I'm doing, click that join button. Hey, that's a way you can just click the join button once. You can donate. There's a couple different levels you can do that, and that helps me to keep going. And it'll help me when we get out of this, because one of the things that I'm going to talk about is what are we going to do when we get out of this? How are people going to act? Where are we going to go? And I know a few places I want to go. Several of them are in Thailand because I'm not sure about traveling international, at least until I see how things pan out. But Indonesia and Myanmar and Cambodia are three of the places, and I'm leaning towards Indonesia because I just love the place. It's a great place. But we'll see. Yeah, like I said, if you like what I'm doing, click that join button. Get some merch. You can do that by going to anamericaninbangkok.com/Scott, or you can look in the description. I also got the CASHAPP now, which I don't know how well that works, but I always hear Joe Rogan talking about it. So for whatever reason, I signed up, and now I got a CASHAPP little thing. It's just $, Oh, wait a minute. It's $ an American in Bangkok. It's not an American in Bangkok.com. It's $ an American in Bangkok. So, I don't know. How can you keep track of all the different methods that they have now of transferring money? I kind of wish there was just one. Yeah, I need a Gulfstream G650, just like the miniatures. Please, hey, if you truly believe, send in those $10,000 donations. Yeah, that's what we want. Now, don't do that. Anyway, let me get some music going. We'll say goodbye. Oops, that's the wrong thing to do. Boom. Let's. Where's it at? Is it still open? Yes, it is. Where are we at here? Right here. Will it work? There we go. That's what 5G will do. One system, one donation. How about cash? I like cash. Cash is king. Cash is still king.